Chapter 13, Understanding the Eternal and the Transient. This one introduces a really key distinction, the difference between the field, which Kadam explains as our body, mind, emotions, our environment, basically everything that changes, and the knower of the field.
And the knower of the field is that eternal consciousness within us, the part that witnesses everything without getting entangled in it.
Right.
This duality, this understanding, helps us differentiate between what is temporary and what is timeless, what changes constantly and what never will. And this insight becomes absolutely essential in a world that's always in motion, always changing. Our roles, our routines, our external identities, they're always evolving. But the deeper awareness within us, that knower, remains steady. Anchoring in what lasts helps you move wisely through what changes.
That makes a lot of sense. This separation between the transient and the eternal, it seems like the very foundation of resilience. When we identify only with the field, our achievements, our possessions, our reputation, we become reactive and restless, constantly tossed around by circumstances. But when we act from the vantage point of the knower, we meet gain and loss with, well, equal composure.
Yeah. In personal life, this means cherishing relationships, successes, experiences. But without clinging, knowing they're ultimately impermanent. In our careers, it means striving for growth while recognizing that titles and outcomes don't define our core being. This is equanimity in action, the wisdom to welcome both success and failure as just passing seasons in the larger journey.
And in business, how does that translate?
Well, in business, the field is everything that's in flux. Operations, markets, customer behavior. It can feel like chaos in motion sometimes.
Definitely.
The knower, on the other hand, is the mission, the values, the purpose. That's the inner compass that stays constant, the anchor that can survive pretty much any storm. Leaders who grasp this distinction don't confuse turbulence with direction. They don't panic at every market turn because they know what must evolve and what must endure.
So at the heart of this teaching lies discernment. Knowing what to hold on to and what to release, what needs to adapt and what needs to be protected. This is the wisdom that frees us, allowing us to act fully in the world, yet never lose ourselves completely to it.
The book then turns to virtues for a purposeful life, quoting a list that includes humility, authenticity, nonviolence, forgiveness, integrity, service, devotion, the qualities that lead to oneness with Brahman.
Krishna shares this list of virtues not as rigid moral prescriptions, but as traits that fuse clarity with real-world impact. These aren't just abstract ideals. They're tangible life and leadership assets.
Exactly. Let's break them down. Humility opens us to feedback and growth. Super important. Authenticity aligns our words and actions, building trust. Nonviolence helps de-escalate conflict with empathy and calm. Forgiveness clears that emotional residue so we can heal faster. Integrity builds reputation, but over the long haul. Service turns ambition into meaningful contribution. And devotion anchors our work and purpose.
In business, these virtues directly shape the culture, from how decisions get made to how people are treated. Leaders who truly embody them build lasting legacies. Teams rooted in service often out-innovate competitors because they build with genuine care. People who lead with authenticity and integrity create ecosystems where trust compounds over time. Success without character is fragile, isn't it? But character without action is just wasted potential.
Well said. And in relationships, these values foster depth, safety, and understanding. In personal growth, they keep us grounded when ego tempts us to drift. In work, they shape culture, deepen loyalty, and create spaces where people don't just perform, they feel like they belong.
So this verse isn't really about perfection. It's about orientation. Are we building from ego or from alignment? These virtues are the quiet engines of enduring success.
The book then discusses embracing oneness through equality and empathy, citing, "He who sees the omnipresent Supreme Lord existing equally within all perishable beings truly sees."
Here, Krishna expands the lens of awareness by introducing oneness. He unveils this deeper truth. The field and the knower are actually two layers of the same reality. While the forms we see differ greatly, the essence within is the same, and it's eternal. Recognizing that shared essence completely transforms how we lead, relate, and live.
Think about it. When we argue with a colleague, compete fiercely with a rival, or judge ourselves harshly, we're often seeing only the field, the visible surface.
But beneath the roles, the opinions, the mistakes, lies the same fundamental essence. This perspective of oneness builds profound empathy. It shifts conflicts into opportunities for connection and transforms pride into understanding. When we see people for who they are, not just what they do, we lead with care, not control.
In business, this could mean designing systems that respect the necessary duality roles, hierarchies, KPIs, while actively nurturing a culture that sees beyond it through things like mentorship and promoting equity. The best leaders balance this unity within the duality. It shows up in humanized cultures, equitable systems, and leaders who genuinely listen deeply.
In relationships, it creates space for patience, generosity, and forgiveness. In personal growth, it means not judging ourselves too harshly when we inevitably stumble, reminding us that mistakes don't diminish our fundamental worth.
The world around us may change constantly, but the essence remains the same. When we connect with that truth in others and in ourselves, we become less reactive, more patient, and far more effective in both life and leadership.
Okay, this brings us to the entrepreneurial framework for Chapter 13, Centered Leadership, Awareness, Discernment, and Balance. In these fast-paced environments, it's incredibly easy to get swept up by shifting markets, constant feedback loops, and endless operational fires. But centered leaders, Kadam suggests, pause. They consciously separate signal from noise. They lead from a place of discernment, mastering that duality in action. They know that business operations are always in motion, but strategic clarity and the deeper mission must remain anchored. Great strategy starts with inner stability.
That ability to distinguish what is enduring like vision, culture, integrity from what is purely circumstantial like tools, platforms, pricing models, that's a strategic superpower. Centered leaders don't react to every single wave. They recognize which ones to ride and which ones to simply let pass. This awareness enables leaders to pivot effectively without compromising their core purpose.
Think of Oprah Winfrey. Her ability to pivot from talk show host to media mogul while staying absolutely true to her mission of empowerment, that's a great example of self-awareness and leadership.
So when complexity inevitably rises, the advice is to ask, what will change here? What remains true? Center yourself first, then lead.
Exactly. And with self-awareness established, the next step is to master the balance of forces shaping business evolution.